Every now and then, somebody or some bodies come along and literally change your opinion on movies. Suddenly, something that you never normally like, you find yourself addicted to. Something that you have considered to always have been done with ineptitude is all of a sudden done with class. And you find yourself actively seeking out movies that ordinarily may have passed you by just because of the name attached to it. The Coen Brothers. Wes Anderson. Kubrick. Tarantino. Sam Raimi. Now, I don't need to tell you, names that have literally changed the face of cinema. Now, whoa, back up. I might not be saying that the Duplass Brothers are as influential as those guys, or as important a voice, but I am definitely not saying that they won't ever be. Because, my word, these two quirky misfits have quite comfortably made some of the most heartfelt, sincere and real movies that I have seen in recent times. And I'll betcha that if you watch even one or two of these movies, you'll suddenly find yourself on a Wikipedia Warren Hole hunt trying to dig out new gems. Such is their consistency, and consistent brilliance really, Hollywood even tried to package them under their own genre.
It's only words, and words are all I had to take your heart away.
Bundle them up with a bunch of other like-minded auteurs, and in doing so, somewhat cheapen the art that they were expelling. What they are doing, well, really shouldn't be that lazily labelled. They seem to be on a mission to seek out every natural slice of life and extrapolate it. Whether that be death, sex, love, loneliness, suicide, they will focus on a central premise and then investigate how that premise may affect all the characters around them. And they are breaking as many hearts along the way as they are fixing, such is the way in which they write, direct, act and treat their characters. Frankly, they are wizards. But are they without fault? No, of course not. I mean, come on. Even Kubrick did Kill a Kiss. Tarantino did 2 chapters of Kill Bill and Death Proof. And the Coen Brothers, well, the lady killers, I'm still at a loss. So, I'm going to save you some digging. I'm going to give you the top 10 movies either written, directed or starring one or both of the Duplass brothers, Jay and Mark. These guys, they are more than just mumblecore. Number 10, Hump Day, starring Mark Duplass, Joshua Leonard and Alicia Delmore, and written by Lynn Shelton. Now, it is testament to the writing and the performances in this movie that a film based on the premise of 2 straight male friends agreeing to make a gay porn film for an art festival has not ended up as an appalling mess. This could have quite easily ended up being crude, offensive, homophobic and, well, basically turgid. But it isn't. I know. Take note I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Underneath the obvious awkwardness of the plot, there is something really heartfelt going on here. This is not an exercise in, wouldn't it be funny if... It really is an exploration into friendship and trust, partnerships and honesty. Is it cringy in places? Well, yeah. But maybe it's asking you whether you can face your own sexuality with the same confidence. And if so, that's a bit of a strange exercise and one that's not exactly necessary. However, it is an indication that Mark Duplass likes to put his name to movies that are willing to investigate the beautiful varieties of life and help them do it with tact, uniqueness and maturity. That said, this is at number 10 and there is a reason for that. Also, yeah, the poster completely missells this film. Number 9, Manson Family Vacation, starring Jay Duplass and produced by Duplass Brothers Productions. This semi-road movie is another oddball look at the themes of family and friendship as 2 brothers decide to take a tour of the Manson family murder locations. It's another quirky premise that hooks you with its concept, but then proceeds to gently dig into you with its eloquent conversations and set pieces. Jay Duplass and Linus Phillips are excellent as the 2 leads. The latter playing the unpredictable, nomadic, adopted brother of Jay's buttoned-up family man. Tobin Bell also makes an appearance in the supporting cast in a role which is perfectly suited to his somewhat eerie presence. This is a heartfelt look into what makes a family a family. whether blood really is the thickest bond, or whether heritage is as disposable as, say, a birth certificate. It's charming, it's very funny in places, and it takes you on a real journey of their discovery. Now, it may not be a movie that asks you to search your own soul, but even simply as a viewer, the brothers' story is one that you find yourself truly invested in. And that is enough to put it in this top 10. Number 8. Baghead. The second offering, written and directed by Mark and J. Duplass. This has the rare novelty of not starring either of the brothers. Instead, they allow regular collaborator Steve Zissis good, take the emotional helm here, alongside Ross Partridge, Ellis Muller and mumblecore monolith Greta Gerwig. This film tells a story of 4 friends that retreat to a remote lodge in order to pen their first movie. And they decide to write a movie about a madman with a bag on his head who sets about tormenting the other characters. But what happens when the story that they are writing begins to come true? Sounds like your average cabin in the woods fare, no? Well, yes. And no. Although the horror aspect of this film is pretty well trodden, the Duplass brothers have peppered it with their trademark exploration of friendships and loyalty. How attraction and sex can ruin relationships quicker than it can form them. This is a pretty good early indicator of where the Duplass brothers were heading. Yes, you can see a lot of the twists coming, and the movie might just play out the way that you expect it to. But again, there is some real heart here, exemplified by 4 or even 5 damn good performances. It's a delightful watch. A low-budget horror version of Swingers. What do you do when the world isn't giving you what you think you deserve? Write a new script for the world to start reading. Number 7. Cyrus. Once again, written and directed by the Duplass brothers, but starring neither. This is a wander into the mainstream for the duo, as they cast the wonderful John C. Reilly alongside Marissa Tomei, Catherine Keeger and Jonah Hill. This is more of a straight-up, warm-hearted comedy, as John C. Reilly plays a divorcee who finds out that his ex-partner is getting remarried and he himself stumbles across a new romantic affair. But a romantic affair that comes with some rather large baggage. A son who isn't quite ready to let his mum fall into the arms of a new man. This leads to some honest to damn hilarious moments between John C. Reilly and Jonah Hill, as they constantly find themselves at loggerheads, however determined to appear to be best new buds on the surface. The script also manages to extrapolate some moments of genuine sweetness and modesty as the movie heads along to its charmingly deserved conclusion. The performances are etched with depth, complexity and true pathos, which is a relative novelty when it comes to many movies in the rom-com genre. It doesn't revel in immaturity as you might expect from the outset. Instead, it simply dips its toe in, allowing for the real message of love and acceptance to wash over you. This serves to show that the Duplass brothers didn't have to stay on the sidelines of Hollywood. It was possible to marry their mumblecore ideals with mainstream production values. And, yeah, it's well worth indulging them in it. Number 6. Jeff Who Lives at Home. Written and directed by the Duplass brothers and starring the always affable Jason Segel, the usually enjoyable Ed Helms and the freaking legendary Susan Sarandon. Sarandon. It's a Basinger Bassinger moment, isn't it? Jeff Who Lives at Home is a wonderfully offbeat comedy about a man actively seeking out his destiny as his brother and his mother stumble upon theirs. This is another example of how well the Duplass brothers can manage and command bona fide A-listers, and an indication of the respect that they have garnered through their indie chic back catalogue. This is a rather tender look into what makes a person's purpose in life. Is your path preordained by the actions you take? Are the actions you take governed by the person you are? And therefore, are all roads mapped out because you will always make the same choice? Or can it be a twist of fate will always occur that will make you question your place on this planet? Or, once again, are those moments of chance not chance at all, but simply just another step on your road to the end? Did you only come across that chance because of the actions you took, and being that the actions you took were always going to be the same, you were always going to come across that moment of chance? The fact that this movie tells this tale without the amount of confusion that I've just put into it, and does it in under 90 minutes, well, that's gotta be applauded. It is simplistic without being obvious. It is sweet without being saccharine. It is knowledgeable without being preachy. And it is funny without being daft. The subplot revolving around Susan Sarandon's character might seem like a little bit of an afterthought. However, there is enough to it to ensure that it can be seen as a valuable cog in the mechanisms of this rather impressive comedy drama. Number 5. Creep and Creep 2. Written by and starring Mark Duplass and produced by Duplass Brothers Productions, I've taken the liberty of bundling these two movies together. Now, that is not because they are the same film, it's just frankly that I can't rate them apart. And also, it frees up an extra space in this here ranking. They are both as excellent as each other. They are both as creepy as each other. Mark Duplass is as brilliant in one as he is in the other. The story travels essentially the same path in both movies, without seeming tired or repetitive. A man invites a stranger to his house in order to document his life, for reasons that are somewhat murky. And what proceeds to happen is a lesson in why people should not visit strangers' houses in order to document their lives. Just don't do it. Should be pretty obvious. But thankfully, we've got two people here in Creep and Creep 2 that aren't aware of the bloody obvious. Thus, we can enjoy two of the finest left-field horror movies of the last decade. These movies will get under your skin. I mean, never has a series been so aptly named. And, by all accounts, there's a third one on the way. Bangin'! Number 4. Blue Jay. Written by and starring Mark Duplass and produced by Duplass Brothers Productions alongside Netflix, this is a strikingly poignant look into young love, tragedy and the scars of time. Mark Duplass stars as Jim Henderson, a man recently mourning the loss of his mother who is visiting his hometown in order to patch up and sell on their old family home. While shopping at a supermarket, he bumps into his old girlfriend Amanda, played with all the charm and grace that we have come to expect from Sarah Paulson. They decide to take a trip down memory lane and reminisce over the long since past days of their youthful courtship. However, pulling on this strand sends them on a spiralling journey into where it all began, and indeed, where it all went wrong. The relationship here is dealt with such brutal purity, it's difficult to take your eyes from the screen. There is a depth of character here, probably not seen since the Before trilogy. And I find myself wishing that this movie had spawned a couple of sequels. Such is the brilliance in the way this journey is told. Although Paulson is the star here, with a measured performance of stunning subtlety and emotional range, Duplass offers strong support with a wistful tone. And, let's not forget, well, he did write it. Number 3. The Puffy Chair. In the words of Juno, it started with a chair. Here it is, the debut. Written by Mark and Jay Duplass. Directed by Mark and Jay Duplass. And starring Mark Duplass. Now, I'll start off by saying that the female character, played by Mark Duplass' real-life wife, Katie Aselton, does not come across well here. She is remarkably and unfortunately written with an almost disregard of sympathy. It is a real shame, because if this character had been afforded the same amount of roundness and attention that the two males have, well, this movie could have been number 1. As it is, though, the fact that this issue doesn't completely derail the movie just goes to show how much the rest of it has to offer. A simple but left-field concept road movie. A man on his way to pick up a puffy chair as a gift for his father, accompanied by his brother and his girlfriend. This movie has more than a few comparable parts to the likes of Clerks and Slacker. And when looked at alongside other low-budget movies made around the same time, funny ha-ha, mutual appreciation, kissing on the mouth, it is easy to see why the industry grouped them all together and slapped the mumblecore label on them. The similarities are hard to avoid. The naturalistic dialogue, the shaky camera work, the characters, the real-life settings. It is almost as if there was a sale on a starter pack somewhere in the mid-noughties. The Puffy Chair, however, is probably my favourite of the bunch. Not least because of the excellent first-time performance of Mark Duplass, but also because of the sheer heart that the movie carries throughout. The honestly hilarious scenes battered away moments later by stark moments of raw openness. The Puffy Chair is a near-perfect debut, and one that is well worth hunting down. Trust. Number 2. Safety Not Guaranteed. Starring Mark Duplass and produced by Duplass Brothers Productions, this is the perfect indie flick. I mean, it has everything. Quirky characters, bizarre premise, lesser known leads. It really is a film that you will find yourself recommending to everyone who says something daft like, I really liked 500 Days of Summer. The story is of a young journalist, played quite awesomely by Aubrey Plaza, who befriends an unusual man who is looking for a partner to join him as he travels back through time. From the outset, you would be forgiven for thinking that this is a movie that is going to put quirk over substance, kook over content. But it really isn't. This is a beautiful movie of friendship and love, of the wonders of variety, of the truly touching moments that can spark between strangers. It even finds time to fit into incredibly formed subplots, exploring a coming-of-age theme and a journey of self-redemption. This movie, darn it, it's sublime. And if you ever wished time travel to be true, this movie will cement that desire. Number 1. Paddleton. Written by Mark Duplass, starring Mark Duplass, and produced by Duplass Brothers Productions, this movie is the beating heart of everything that the Duplass Brothers have thus far created. This movie is the film that the Duplass Brothers were on their way to create all the way back when they started with the Puffy Chair. Like Jeff Who Lives at Home, this movie is their destiny. Every movie that they have made was a step closer to making this film. It is an exceptional piece of art. It tells the story of Michael, who upon learning that he has terminal cancer, enlists the help of seemingly his only friend and next-door neighbour, a career-redeemed Ray Romano, to aid him in ending his life. And it is as thought-provoking and heart-wrenching as that would lead you to expect. It is also very, very funny. Both Mark Duplass and Ray Romano excel in their roles as two bickering friends on a journey of understanding, compassion and acceptance. The savagely honest finale is a tour de force of acting on both parts and reverberates with you long after the credits have rolled. This is, in my opinion, nothing short of a masterpiece, and one that opens your eyes to the complexities of life and the ownership of death. Frankly, well, damn, it might well be one of the finest movies I've ever seen. And it was made by two quirky brothers from Louisiana, who made their first movie on a budget of $15,000 borrowed from their parents. And to think, I was forced to learn the trombone. Choices, eh? Funny where they take you. Laters. Mid-credit scene. Thank you very much for popping by. Like, comment and subscribe to the channel. That way you can get all the updates. You can also catch me on the Cool Kids Film Club. They can be found on Facebook under the title Cool Kids Film Club, and on YouTube and on Spotify as well. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, general musings, why not catch me on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter? Some people will ask why I did this. Well, simply, she gave me a pen.